What is going on, Foker Doodles? Today we are going to talk about something that is super important when making any changes in your life, especially if that change is going to be all-encompassing, a wider lifestyle change. It has to do with identity. You've heard a lot from a lot of people, including Tony Robbins and other important self-improvement gurus, or not your gurus, that how you see yourself is super important. And who you are follows how you see yourself. How you see yourself is a sort of regulating mechanism, if you will. That's a really good way to say it. It's what you'll come back to if you don't have enough push. And even if you do have enough push, it's like the earth. And if you get out of the earth, if you get out into space, now you're kind of in the middle of nothingness. So you're going to want to come back eventually anyway to your identity. And there's a really good concept I love. And this is going to help you if you have any changes you want to make, for instance, to your weight, to your finances, to your love life, to your sex life. Love and sex, sometimes that is the same thing, and ideally it is, but a lot of people search for sex not in their love life, and they separate the two, which is 100% fine. It's two different ways of going about it. If you want to change anything about that, then the key is in that word change. You're changing something from your norm. Maybe you've been in the place you're at for a while, and changing it feels weird. Sorry, stuff in my throat. And eventually, it'll feel weird. Even at first, it'll feel weird. Eventually, over time, it'll feel fine. But only if you make this change, this specific change. If you don't make this change, a lot of the things that you do will implode. A lot of the changes that you make will not stick. And that is why this concept is super fucking important. If the world is your identity and you go out from your identity into space, now you're in no man's land. What you have to do is change your world so your world includes what you want. And this is a mental thing. This is an identity thing. I was thinking yesterday, there's a change I'm making in the trajectory of in how I make money in my life, because there's a much more efficient and effective way that I can make money than I'm making money right now. Of course, YouTube is my end goal, but in the meantime, YouTube is, I'm not planning for YouTube to be my main source of income for several years. I just want to give value right now. I just want to help you guys out as much as possible, build a custom life for yourself, and not have to flounder, not have to learn the lessons on your own. I've learned a lot of the lessons myself, and I'd love for you to learn the lessons from me and not have to learn them on your own. So in that respect, excuse me, in that respect, I'm here to help you with my journey. And so what that means is I want to give you as much value. But in the process, before YouTube makes money, which is something I will be doing with it at one point, I need to make money some other way. And I'm changing that now. And so yesterday, in thinking about this, it kind of hit me that my rigidity about what I do and how I make money, especially because in America, one of the first questions you ask in small talk is, what do you do? And that usually translates to it always translates to, how do you make money? Well, what does that mean? How do you make money? So how do you make money is what you do, right? And who you are. Because we define ourselves here in America and a lot of Western countries by we are what we do. We are what we give to others. We are how we provide society with a skill or something in order to get money back. That is who we are. And there's a purpose for that. Let's deconstruct it a little bit so we can understand the purpose of it, which is not a bad thing. And it's actually a good purpose. And then that way we'll have more awareness of it. And that way, if you want to make a change to your life, and this isn't just for money, although it's a great example. If it's for your love life, if it's for your sex life, if it's for your physique, for your health, for how you interact with others, for how nice you are, how assertive you are, etc., for anything, this concept, bear with me, because this concept, while I'm talking about money, just insert your chosen thing in there and it will be absolutely perfect. So, without further ado, here we go. Down the rabbit hole. If we all are clear with everybody else in the world about what we do for money, then if we define ourselves by that and make it rigid, then I can know, hey, if I need my house painted, I know who to go to because I know that Jeff is a painter. If I need some help with gardening and I don't know how to garden, I know that Lauren is a gardener. I know that that's who she is and that's who I can go to. And these clearly defined roles, these clearly defined identities are great for societal productivity. They're great for building a society that works together with itself. Now, if we value, which we do, if you watch this channel, you definitely do value individual desire, individual goals, individual freedoms. That means that I can choose what I do with my life. Then, while societal productivity is nice, and it's important to have some kind of framework so we function together, it's also important that I'm free to do what I want with my life. And if everyone else expects me to be a gardener, and I want to change and maybe become a bike technician, like work on bicycles or motorcycles, then I'm going against the grain of the social fabric, right? So there's probably more to it, but in the few days I've thought about it deeply, that is a great explanation for why in Western society, because we value productivity over family in a lot of ways, because other countries define themselves by who's your family. Like, well, how do you interact with your family? Who's your family? That's how they define themselves, and especially in Latin culture. Here in America, we define ourselves by what I do because we value productivity. One of our utmost values, like we're going to strive to be the best. We're going to strive to produce the most, produce the best, right? So that is a great function of, hey, this is what I do. It helps societal productivity. That is one main, if not the most important reason that we do that we define ourselves by our job here in the United States and other Western countries. What you have to do is you have to understand where that comes from. And when somebody says, what do you do? Either verbally say, I am a person who does this, or mentally say, I'm a person, and then to them say, oh, I'm a programmer. And in your mind, or out loud, you assert that that is not everything you are, but that is a facet of your personality. The reason you do this is because it allows you to get great at that skill, which is craftsman's code number 1, focus on one thing at a time, and number 3, be consistent with that thing. You can get great at that skill, which is super important, getting great at that skill, but you can also free yourself to develop other facets of yourself. I bookbind. I'm a person who bookbinds. I'm also a person who knits. I'm also a person who programs. I'm also a person who drives Uber and helps people get around. I'm also a person who makes YouTube videos. I'm also a person who paddleboards. I'm also a person who practices photography and does photo shoots for people. All of these are truths about me, about Joe Bookoff, about me. There's a lot of other things I do as well. And when I say I'm a programmer, now that's it. I'm nothing else. And it denies my freedom to redefine myself. Or if it creates this like rock in our relationship, this crystallized facet of how I interact with that person. Because now, if I do anything else that's not a programmer, then I've lost integrity. I have done something that is against what I've said, and something that is really important that I'll probably share. I definitely will share at some point. Is the importance of integrity is what you say matching what you mean. Now, of course, if you're being humorous, if you're making jokes, it doesn't count. But if you're talking to somebody and you're actually sharing things and you're not making jokes or in between jokes, because we all got to be playful, then what you say has to match what you mean. And if it doesn't, then there's you're weakening yourself a little bit. That's a really cool concept that when you have integrity in everything you do, the world opens up and you become super powerful, and what you say is what you mean, and you trust yourself, other people trust you, and momentum just builds itself. So, to recap, when we define ourselves by what we do, we crystallize ourselves into one facet, and we make it crystallizes and harden, not as in like grow, but as in harden. We harden ourselves into one facet of ourselves, and we reduce our ability to change and flow with the natural progression of us self-actualizing and building the life we love that fits us like a glove. So that's number one. Number two, there's a great purpose to it. It helps societal productivity to know who does what, so you can know who you want to go to. And number three, let's transcend that. And when somebody asks us, what do you do? Say, I am a person who X. Or if you want to word it somewhat differently, get the same gist out where it's, I'm a person who does X, rather than you are defined as the role, you are a person that wears that role. And that way you can take it off and put something else on if you so choose. Hope this helped you out. If it gave you any value, please subscribe, like, and share the channel with somebody else. And I put some cool Amazon affiliate links in the description for some things I find useful, like all the content creation stuff, etc. So please go ahead and click those if you want to buy anything on Amazon. It helps me a lot, because more money in my pocket from this channel means I can spend more time on it and make better content for y'all. So cheers, enjoy your day, bye.